Okay, so Serena Williams, the greatest, maybe athlete of all time. We'll think about that. Definitely the greatest tennis player of all time, the greatest athlete alive right now, I believe. She won her 22nd Grand Slam title on Saturday, tied for the most in the open era with Steffi Graf. I think pretty much any commentator will tell you she's better than Steffi Graf at this point. And it happened just hours after we watched protesters, hundreds, get arrested in Minnesota in Baton Rouge. And, I was struck with her answer after the match. They asked her a question about Dallas right after the match. And without wavering, she said, this is about Black lives. This is about violence against people who look like my nephews. And she didn't do this thing where people, they make two things equivalent. They make, one person's agenda against police equivalent to police killing black folks. She stood there in a very precarious situation, exhausted after a match, and said the right thing. And then she walked off with a fist raised. And I've loved Serena Williams and Venus Williams for now most of my life. And, I was just overcome. Then, yeah. And that's what I wrote about. And she's the greatest. And she means so much to us to celebrate. She to me is like Ali in that she provides that public voice, that public excellence that we often need when we're feeling down, when we feel like, maybe they won't stop killing us. Maybe they won't stop marginalizing us and redlining us and putting us on the edge of cities and in floodplains and lead poisoning us. And I think people like having those avatars of like greatness, of black excellence, who can remind us that we can and there is a future.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And, one of the things I also think about, like, that to me feels pretty unique with Serena is, like, within the black community specifically, she seems very, like, wholly loved. Like, it's like a love relationship with her. I mean, people, like near uniformly, if not uniformly, recognize, like, how special and unique she is. And I was also, usually what we do is, like, we think about that in relation to somebody else. And I was thinking about LeBron, who's somebody who's also extremely dominant, like, ridiculously talented person, But, I feel like with him specifically, it's harder for people, like, to get behind, black people specifically. It seems to be more of a love, like, hate relationship. And I mean, I personally don't get it. I'm just curious if you had any thoughts.
I don't get the LeBron hate. And I hated LeBron for a long time. Well, I thought the whole switching, I thought the decision was weak. I thought it was, something I definitely wouldn't do, get on TV and say, I'm going to leave you. Like, but when after a while, I felt people were piling on and they were just ignoring the amazing things that he did. The fact that he actually does do work for the community. His scholarship program is amazing. But I think anyone who becomes successful enough is going to have haters. Like, and that's just the way it is. And I think she's not singularly accepted among everyone, of course. I mean, you got Dog Abby and Egg Twitter who get out there every day and they're going in. But I think that acceptance among black folks, at least, is acknowledgement that she represents more than any other athlete that sort of hope, more than LeBron, more than Jordan did. And the fact that I think that she exists in a sport that is mostly white, that is white pretty much with the exception of her sister, and a couple of other up-and-comers who also enjoy watching, is different than LeBron James playing in a sport where it's mostly black, or a football player playing in a sport where it's mostly black. She's overcoming. LeBron definitely has overcome racism, but it's much more daily and present in her life. And she's also a woman. She's a black woman dealing with all the shit that black women get. So it's almost threefold, like the difference in what we respect of her going through. And that's why I think, even if you don't like her, you don't like tennis, you got to respect Serena, right? You can't not respect Serena.
Mm-hmm.